Hey class, it's Friday. I wanted to kind of break the week up a little bit and just add another video and take a few moments to tell you how great you're doing. I'm very impressed, remain impressed with the level of work that you're putting forth in the discussions, in the blog, in your papers. So I congratulate each of you for working so hard this week in our legal traditions class. So what have we done? Certainly we've had some written assignments and various things, but we've taken a look this week in our discussion board at a very interesting case. Now, developing this course, I served as a subject matter expert and had the opportunity to put much of this in there. And I wanted to do something different to take a look at, ethics and what we do in law enforcement, in corrections, in whatever we do. But since this is a justice class, I thought, this would be very interesting to kind of look at the ethics that we have to deal with, the decisions that we have to make. And what we have in this case is a nurse and a facility, an assisted care facility, if you will. She's a nurse. Now, I don't remember, I don't know that we've determined if she is an LPN or an RN or a CNA or what she is, but certainly she's a licensed nurse. So we're thinking she's probably an LVN, an LPN. And so, which is pretty common in these type of facilities. And she refuses to give CPR, to perform CPR to an 87-year-old woman who collapses in the senior residence where she works because it's company policy. And so she does what she's supposed to do. We believe she dials 911. She speaks with an emergency medical dispatcher on the phone. Now, this is a person that may or may not be a civilian or a paramedic or an EMT or even a nurse in some cases, and they have a specialized training. They've completed a whole nother training course, a whole nother certification, and they use this nationally based program called the Priority Dispatch System, and it's also designed for police and fire as well. But anyway, she uses this system, so she's not just thinking this stuff up. She's following these instructions, and the instructions are telling her that she's supposed to just almost banter this person, this nurse, and convince her that she has to perform CPR. Now, the 911 dispatcher doesn't care about company policy. She just knows that this nurse is called and they said, hey, this 87-year-old person is not breathing. We believe that she has passed away. She's code blue, if you will. And no, I'm not going to do CPR. So the 911 dispatcher continues to banter her, if you will, and try to convince her, hey, we need to do CPR. So she says, no, I'm not going to do it. Yeah, okay, I can administer CPR, but the problem is I'm probably going to get fired. Yes, I'm a nurse. Yes, I know that I took an oath, but it's company policy, and so I'm not going to do it. We're just an independent residence. We're not a nursing home. We're not a long-term care facility, a rehabilitation facility. We're independent living. So they live here in their own apartment or their own room, and we kind of feed them and assist them a little bit, but that's it. That's all we do. And so we get to make the decision about whether or not she committed a law, she broke a law, she committed a crime, is what I was trying to say. Or if she didn't commit a crime, did she do something that's unethical? Should have, and then when the police officer arrives on scene, which is, pretty much what happens in the death, everyone still comes, police, fire, ambulance, we all show up and we have to make this report and make a determination, and either the coroner comes and retrieves this person that's expired, and off she goes to the medical examiner. And in some cases, that's the same in some states, but it's not mine. They're different. But nevertheless, or she goes to the funeral home. She's elderly, and maybe the police officer says, look, it's a natural death. We spoke with the coroner on the phone, and so let's just take her to the funeral home. No investigation required. So, what does a police officer do here? Does a police officer arrive? He's already talked to his dispatcher. Maybe the ambulance service dispatcher has relayed information to their dispatch and has said, hey, she refused. She's not going to do CPR. We couldn't talk her into doing CPR. So he has a decision to make. Did she commit a law or commit a crime, I should say? I keep monkeying that up. But did she commit a crime? Did she break the law? Or was it just simply a case where it was unethical? Was it even unethical? I mean, she's a nurse. She works in a facility. The facility apparently has a policy that doesn't allow staff to perform CPR or really to help them very much. So, is it illegal? Is it unethical? Or is it just how life is? That's a decision you get to make this week. Now, many of you have already posted. We've had some real good discussions on this. Some of you wait till the weekend to try to get that post in. Again, the goal is to always get it in there Thursday. Really, that's the deadline. And then your papers and other assignments are typically due Sunday evening. But if you've not posted, I'd encourage you to do that. If you have posted, don't just go take the weekend off. Go back and take a look at some of those discussions, because we're having some real good discussions on this. Is it legal? Is it illegal? Is it ethical? Is it, very good discussions. What is the purpose of this? The purpose of this, are we trying to get you to learn about what's happening in healthcare? Well, if you do, that's fantastic. That's great. You pick up something else. But the purpose of this is really to get you to think hard and deeply and identify. This is a situation that if you're going to work in law enforcement, or you're going to work anything in public safety, maybe you work for the coroner's office, you're part of an investigative team for the law enforcement agency where you live. These are situations that you're going to be faced with. This is reality, real life things that happens. Now, a couple of y'all guys, 3 or 4, whatever, maybe nurses or EMTs or medics. I mean, I've seen you post. So you realize that you've worked with this, and I want you to share the things that you know from your point of view. I'd like for everyone to do that. But this is real world things that you're going to have to deal with when you work in justice studies, no matter what that may be. So what if she does get arrested? What if the police officer decides, hey, we're going to arrest her. I think she's committed a crime. Is she going to get out of it? Is she not going to get out of it? I don't know. That's for you to decide. Keep up the great work in those discussions. Again, if you've not posted, please do that. Now, I wanted to talk about the discussions again while we're here on this Friday, mentioning this case and kind of going over it again. Please don't do those 1 or 2 liners. Develop some really good extended discussions. Add that APA, those citations and those references that we've discussed. Use the links and the suggestions that I've provided in doing your work, and go back and reply to other students. It's really important to do that. Please use those suggestions that I've given you. So what's the importance of citing in a discussion? What's the whole purpose of that? Again, it's to prepare you for the future to learn how to write detailed reports. It's just part of a requirement that helps us identify what others have said, but it helps you to prepare to write those detailed reports. You may be in a situation where you have to go to court and testify on something that you've written and that you've documented, or maybe you're in a different situation, whether you work in probation and parole, corrections, or healthcare. You're not even going to work in the justice studies field. Doesn't matter. At some period of time, you're going to have to document something, and you could be called on the carpet. It's a legalistic society anymore. Everyone wants to sue for something. So I'd encourage you to learn to use those citations and references exactly the way they state. Check your grammar and check your spelling. I really count off for that. Starting this 3rd week, we're into our 3rd week. So those suggestions I've given in the 1st and 2nd week, first couple weeks, I kind of try to be easy, and then I start holding you a little bit more accountable because I've given you that feedback. I know you don't have all your grades in Mod 2 yet. I hadn't gotten them all back to you. I'm working on that, but I really want you to pay attention to those suggestions because I'm going to hold you accountable for them. And again, the purpose of doing that is not just to give out bad grades, it's to help you to learn to get that detailed information as you move forward in your career. Okay, so it's Friday. Again, I wanted to just touch base on this. Please don't forget to do your blogs, all your other written assignments. Pay attention to your grading. I'm sorry, your grammar. Pay attention to your mechanics, your spelling. Take that rubric and those instructions and just set them down and really pay close attention to those as you move forward to help you develop your assignments. So you're doing great. If you have any questions, give me a shout. Thanks for taking some extra time here and listening to this extra video on Friday. It's 10 minutes out of your life, and I guarantee you it's going to help you. So y'all guys have a great weekend. I'll get the rest of your grades to you soon. If you have any questions, give me a shout. Thanks for all you do, and keep rocking. Don't give up. Never give up. Never give up. Have a great weekend, guys and gals.